Guys, it's late.
Don't confuse them more.
Okay. Shh. Torah Or, Lecha, page 26 on top. Okay, we started the Maamar that they always say at a Brit Milah, that the Rabbi asked the famous question, why didn't Avram Avinu, if he kept the whole Torah, why didn't he do Brit Milah before? And he says, we first need to understand the level of Milah. Because Milah is the Mi Yala Lono Hashemayim is Rosh Tevis Milah, Sofer Tevis Yitke Vavke. And he says there's two psukim. One says you have to circumcise your heart, another pasuk says Hashem will circumcise. So there's Milah that we do, which is the level of tshuva. And then there's a level of Milah Malmaila, which is a Mol Hashem Lecha, which is called Marav Tulcha, an abundance of good. By Moshe Rabbeinu it says Kitayv. But this is Rav Tev, this is an abundance of good. Okay, we're going to start mamish the top of the page. The first Milah. No, I'm sorry, we learned this already. Okay, yeah, 1 second. Okay, you don't listen to a bas curl? Okay. 6 lines from the end of that first column of this Maamar. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe says that Milah is even higher than Torah. Torah it says Leiba Shemayim Hi. Torah is not in heaven. Yet Milah stands for Mi Yala Lono Hashemayim. That Milah comes to the level of Shemayim, because Milah is even greater than Torah. So he says, and this concerning this, the Chazal tell us, that Milah is even greater than Torah, because Torah has like 6 covenants made, 6 times the word Brit, and Milah has 13 times the word Brit. Peter's Gedela Milah, what does it mean Milah is greater? It doesn't only mean Milah is greater, it means the greater level of Milah. Gedela Milah, the greater level of Milah. Is Milah Gedela Shemomayla Lamata, meaning Sheyamal Hashem Alakachos Levavcha, that Hashem will circumcise the heart, which is the revelation of above. Lachein Nichnasa Biyud Gimel Brises. Therefore, this level of Milah that has 13 covenants, 13 bris, that's the level of Milah of Lamaila. It says, what's the inyan of a bris? What's the concept of a covenant? A covenant that 2 people make, you want to call it the covenant of marriage, the covenant that David and Yonasan made in Tanakh. A covenant between 2 people means like this. We could be friends, but if logic dictates we shouldn't be friends, then we're not going to be friends anymore. Like you get into a fight, okay, so therefore we're not friends anymore. The concept of a bris means that even when logic dictates you shouldn't be friends, you're still going to be friends. That's like what marriage is all about. Even though whatever, you're still married. Why? Because there's something that's above logic. Logic would dictate not to be friends. And the bris makes that even then you're friends. Like we said in 1927, Tafarish Peizain, the Friedrich Rebbe called the 9 Chassidim, and made with them a bris, that Mesiras Nefesh for Yiddishkeit till death, he was the 10th, and they actually made a covenant. Meaning, even though Seichel says, how can you give up your life, risk your life for all that? There's something above Seichel. 1927. Like 2 people, 2 friends make a covenant. To be good friends. What does it mean? That they're forced to be his friend. Even though logically they got into a fight, this ava shouldn't be. This bris, which is an attitude above seichel, means machia forces the person it's something which is above logic, above any rationale, forces them to be friends. So what's the inyan of a bris? A bris is above ishtalshalis. That's why the Yud Gimel Bris of Bris Milah corresponds to Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is higher than Chochmah.
Hashem wanted to be friends with Abraham, so that I'm going to send the kids to his valley, or I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. He was given the choice. Yeah.
That's the friendship.
Because spiritual death is worse than physical death. Spiritual death is worse than physical death. Yes? Okay. So Hashem says, your kids are going to sin. Okay? But I love you so much, I'm going to make a covenant with you that either they'll get cleansed in Gehenna, or they'll get cleansed, not punished, cleansed in Golus, and then they'll have a pure slate. So that's from love, not fear, and not from meanness.
Rabbi, spiritual death is forever, unless a person gets cleansed.
Spiritual death is permanent. Physical death, we anyway live temporarily. So like we learned many times, if it's not permanent, it's not emes. Like the din, rivers that dry up once in 7 years, they were not allowed to use in the Beis HaMikdash. 6 years it was functioning. The answer is because there comes a time that it doesn't function, that even in the 6 years it did function, it's also not emes. And if it's not emes, you can't use it in the Beis HaMikdash, for Mayim Chaim. It's the same thing in the physical life of a person. There was a time we weren't born, and there's a time we're going to die. That means even the 120 years we're alive are not real life. The only life, the real life of a Yid, is the Ruchnistic life. So the Friedrich Rebbe explains in many Maamarim. That's why spiritual death is worse than physical death. Physical death, anyway, you're not really alive. Spiritual death is eternal until you do tshuva, so you could change it. But it doesn't when you sin, it doesn't lose its status limitation, that after a while it's not brought up anymore. It is brought up because it exists. Okay, so he says, which is a level of Morav Tuv, is Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, through the 13 attributes of mercy, which are above Seichel. Therefore, the Bris Milah is a level above Seichel. And that's why we explained the Monday night class that Yishmael, who had a bris at 13, meaning that bris that he had with Hashem was a logical connection. Yitzchak was 8 days old, the first Jew to be circumcised at 8 days old. That's no seichel at all at 8 days old. Not only that, it's the level above time, which is 7. That's what it says in Sfarim. One of the reasons why Bris Milah is on the 8th day, because the Eibusher wants that there should be a Shabbos before the Bris. That's why. So if you're born, you need to have a Shabbos between the birth and the Bris. So therefore, it has to be that way. Which is Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is a level Shel Milah Me'at. Therefore, you have Slichas Oven. That's why tshuva is greater than Torah. Tshuva is greater than Torah, right? That you could sin and then you could do tshuva. Well, then, this is what the pasuk says: Ad yaver amcha havaya. Ad yaver, we say in Ozi Ashirit, Ad yaver amcha Hashem until I pass over your nation havaya, meaning. Ad Yaver, what does it mean? We reach Ad Yaver Amcha Hashem. We reach a level higher than Yudkei Vavkei. Like we learn by Yom Kippur, Lifnei Hashem Titaru. It's a level higher than.
Who reaches that?
Every person when they get a bris.
The baby or the people around?
The baby.
So what about the girls?
The baby. The Gemara says girls are considered circumcised. So the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, Nashim Command Mal Yadam, that they're considered circumcised, which means that aspect of Bris Milah's connection they have innately without having to do it.
They're more involved than us in birth.
In other words, they're efficient, they're better than us. Well, then,
People around doing that.
what?
If the baby gets elevation, what is it people?
But the father was the one that made it happen.
Why makes the breeze party so high?
The party?
Yeah, or
Why you guys don't think about parties?
or when the breeze is happening, people are praying.
Because bris,
Because only one person gets elevated.
no. Everybody's thinking bris is sort of a bris meal. Like you fasted 84 fasts. I mean, it says about pitting and ban, but some places it says about bris meal also. So he says, "Azen amad yaver amcha avaya, ad yaver shelamayla mishem avaya." And also by Yud Gimel Mitzvah Rachman also says Vayaver Hashem Alpanav. Okay, so the pearl. What's the Alter Rebbe explaining over here? There's a level of bris from us. There's a level of bris from above. Correct? That level of bris from above is higher than Torah, higher than Ishtalshalis. It's Yud Gimel Mitzvah Rachman. That level is what's called Raf Tuv, an abundance of good. He's now the Alter Rebbe said, now we can understand the original question. If Avram Avinu kept the whole Torah before he was given, even Erev Tavshilin, why didn't he do Bris Milah? He said, Lekim mitzvahs Milah b'mnei sharot zelagia, because Avram Avinu through the Bris wanted to reach Milah G'dayla, he wanted to reach a level of Milah from above, Shalamayla Mata. In other words, like this. That level, Mamayla Lamata, has to come from Hashem. It has to be a commandment from above. If Avram Avinu did the bris on his own, yeah, he would have done the bris. But he would only have the Milah Mamata Lamayla. He'll only have from lower level. The G'dayla Milah, the higher level of Milah, has to become Mamayla. So that had to be a tzivui. And he says, and therefore, and then and that's why it says Nimol Avram. It says at the end of the parsha, B'etzem is a Nimol Avram. Nimol means he became circumcised. It should have said B'etzem Hazeh. I mean, Vayamal Avram B'etzem Hayom Hazeh. It should have been said because Avram Avinu did the bris, right? So Rashi says, why does it say Nimol? In Pshat, it means because Avram was an old man, his helmet is shaking. So Hashem did the bris together with him. Hashem held the knife together with him, and whatever that means. But Hashem held the knife with him, and they did the bris together. But here the Alter Rebbe is explaining because Nimal Avram means it was passive, meaning it came a gilui from above. By the meal of Yishmael, it says Vayamal Avram as Yishmael b'nai, or Mikneviyamal Fishi Milah Shelamat. That was the lower level of Milah that Yishmael had, and everybody else, like it says, Umoltam Arlas Levachim. That's the bris that they did. They didn't reach the level of Avram Avinu, but Aval Avram Zachal Gil Bechin Samol Hashem Lecha. Therefore, it says Nimol Avram. Okay, that's why. By the way, it says what the Rebbe writes in the beginning of the week Hayom Yom that when the Rebbe Rashab cried to the Tzemach Tzedek, why didn't Hashem appear to me? So he said, when a Yid, 99 years old, agrees to do a bris, he's worthy that Hashem should appear to him. Yeah. 99, like it says, the Rebbe explains, is the ultimate perfection. 100 is 10 times 10, the 10 spheres times 10, the 10. That was, like it says in Pirkei Avos, when a big guy reaches 100, it's like he left the world, meaning he's higher than Olam, he's higher than concealment, because he came to the completion of all 10 spheres in the person, each one complete of 10. So Avram is 99, like they say in Yiddish, he's ot, he's almost there. So that Avayda Milmata Lamaila was all he was able to reach himself, 99. Then he gets the level of 100, that completeness, that was a Gilu Milmaila. And that he wouldn't have gotten if he didn't do a bris, if he did the bris earlier.
Why we say that you have to do it, you have to initiate?
Yeah. When you make a vessel, then Hashem does his part.
I know, but he didn't. I mean, he waited until Hashem told him.
Right, because he wanted that level of Milah. He purified himself in 99 levels. Therefore, it says in the essence of the day, meaning, okay, now, it says every word in the pasuk is that. It says, Etzem means essence. Hazeh, zeh is gilui. So it says, that's Yom Shekula Orach, Shekula Teiv. Yom Zeh Keli Van Veil. Zeh means a revelation of Elokus. In the essence of the level of Yom, which means shining, day, Zeh itself is shining. So it's shining within shining, Gilui within Gilui. Va'at Mishayim Azayno Eis Yad Gilui Godel. There will be La'as Lavei in the level of Gilui of Rav Tuvcha. Shazel Shekula Teiv, that's the level of Yom Shekula Teiv. Therefore, this is what the Alter Rebbe is saying. Be'etzem Yom Hazeh means when the essence of Yom Hazeh became revealed to him, Nimal Avram reached the level of Milah Gedolah, which is the level of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is higher than Yud Kei Vav Kei. And that's the level that Avram Avinu reached through Bris Milah. And therefore, like you said before, in the other Maamar, that before he was called Avraham, he was only Avram, a level of Seichel which is removed from world. But then he became through Bris Milah, Av Hamoin Goyim, the father of all nations. That level of Chachma was revealed in the lowest of the lowest levels. That Bris Milah accomplished. Because when he had a revelation through Bris Milah of higher than world, Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, then he was able to reveal that Kedusha even to the lowest worlds of Avim and Goyim, even the Goyim.
This Be'esem Hayim Hazeh is not mentioned like the other two.
Which one? It says 3 times.
3 times. This is one
By Noach,
by Moshe Rabbeinu and this.
this is the 3rd time. So Rashi in Chumash, when he quotes the 3, says that people said, we're not going to let him do it. So back at the middle, broad daylight, Hashem showed everybody he's doing it.
So what is the deal here? With Noach I understand. With Moshe Rabbeinu I understand. With Brit Milah,
He didn't care what people said.
Avraham Avinu.
Yeah.
It's so remarkable that Abraham now is essentially the father of all the...
That's what the pasuk says. Av Hamoin Goyim.
Amazing that it prophesied and it came true.
You're amazing that Hashem prophesied and it came true. I mean, come on.
Remarkable.
That's remarkable that everything Hashem says is true.
To me,
Okay, I understand. But it's not so remarkable that Hashem says something is going to happen and it does. Okay.
but it's remarkable that everybody accepted that, even there.